Limits of liability, retentions, and deductibles. If a single aggregate limit of liability is granted as provided in item C of the declarations, the amount stated in item C of the declaration shall be maximum aggregate limit of the insurer for the loss. Other than cost, charges, and expenses as indicated in the coverage sections resulting from all claims first made during the policy period, regardless of coverage section. Limits of liability of each coverage section in no way in be addition to the aggregate of limits set forth in item C of the declarations, and in no way shall be deemed to increase the aggregate limit of liability as set forth therein. Paragraph 1 shall not apply to the crime coverage section. The limits of liability, retentions, and deductibles for each coverage section are separate limits of liability, retentions, and deductible pertaining only to the coverage section for which they are shown. Subject to paragraph 1 above, the application of a retention or deductible to loss under one coverage section shall not reduce the retention or deductible under any other coverage section, and no reduction in the limit of liability applicable to one coverage section shall reduce the limit of liability under any other coverage section. In the event that any claim is covered, in whole or in part, under two or more insuring clauses or more than one coverage section, the total applicable retention or deductible shall not exceed the single largest applicable retention or deductible. The largest applicable retention or deductible shall apply only once to such a claim. It is warranted that the particulars and statements contained in the application are the basis of this policy and are to be considered as incorporated in constituting the part of the policy of each coverage section. By acceptance of the policy, the insured agree that the statements in the applications are representations, that such representation shall be deemed material to acceptance of the risk or the hazard assumed by insurer under this policy, and that the policy shall in each coverage section are issued in reliance upon the truth of such representation.